Today we'll discuss the quicksort program. So according to your syllabus, this is the fourth lab program. Sort a given set of n integer elements using quicksort method and compute its time complexity. Run the program for varied values of n greater than 5000 and record the time taken to sort. Plot a graph of the time taken versus n on graph sheet. The elements can be read from a file or can be generated using the random number generator. Demonstrate using Java how the divide and conquer method works, along with its time complexity analysis, worst case, average case, and best case. So here we have already discussed worst case, average case, and best case for the quicksort method while discussing algorithm. Today we'll discuss the Java program on how the quicksort method works. So first line, it is import java.util.star. I told you it's a Java utility package. We are going to import or we are going to include this in our program to use scanner class and the random class. Scanner class is used to read the input from the keyboard and random class is used to generate the numbers randomly for the sorting method. So import java.util.star. Then class name I have given it as quick, and we know that every code in Java must be within the class to get executed. Okay, every code, whatever you want to execute, that must be inside the class. So we are creating a class here, class quick. Then static int a square bracket, which is equal to new int of 20,000. I told you about this. This is the format used by Java to create array. So when we give static int a, it will just create the reference for the array within the memory. And then we are going to allocate the memory for this using new operator. New is a operator which allocates the memory dynamically. So new int of 20,000, I'm going to allocate the memory for 20,000 elements. That is what type of element? Integer type. Okay, so here we have to specify that int a of bracket, it will a with square bracket, it will create reference to the array, but it will not allocate the memory. To allocate the memory, we have to use new operator. Then we have to specify what type of elements we want to store, that is int here. And then we have to specify for how many elements we have to allocate the memory. Okay, then static int j, this is used to hold the pivot element position. Then static scanner, yes, I told you scanner, it's a built-in class used to read the input from the keyboard. Scanner is a built-in class used to read the input from the keyboard. So scanner, yes, is equal to new scanner of system.in. New scanner of system.in, it will create object of type scanner. Okay, that will be, yes, if you give scanner s, it will just create object or reference to the scanner, but it will not allocate the memory for that. To allocate the memory, we have to use new operator with scanner constructor system.in. Again, while discussing constructor and destructor in Java, you will come to know about it. Okay, new scanner of system.in. Remember that it will allocate the memory. Then static void quicksort. For this, we are passing int low and int high, that is initial index and the last index we are passing. If low is greater than high, then return. Okay, if low is greater than high, then call return. If low is less than high, then call partition function with low comma high. Then once we get the partition function, we have declared a variable j. we have declared a variable j. It's a global variable, so it will be having the address of the pivot element. Okay, it will be having the address of the pivot element. That's why we are not returning any value from the partition. So it's a global variable that will be set from the partition. Okay, so once we get the value of pivot element, so array will be divided into two halves. The elements which are on the left side of the pivot element will be lesser than the pivot element, and elements on the right side of the pivot element will be greater than the pivot element. So we'll be having two arrays there. So it will be partitioned. Now we have to call quicksort on both the partition. So quicksort of low comma j minus 1, and then leave j, quicksort of j plus 1 to high. So we have two partitions here other than the pivot element, because once we get the partition, position of the pivot element will be fixed. Okay, it will be fixed. So remaining elements we have to sort again. So that is on the left side of the pivot element and right side of the pivot element. So call quicksort on both the array. Okay, then this is the partition function. For partition function, again we are passing low and high, that is initial index and the last index. Int L is equal to low, H is equal to high. In the algorithm we have used I and J, right? In the algorithm we have used I and J. Here we are using L and H. Okay. L will be pointing to the first element, H will be pointing to the last element. Okay, then temp and pivot, temporary variable for swapping, pivot element to store the pivot element, that is first element in the array. So pivot is equal to A of low, that is first element in the array, while L is less than H. The value of L is less than H. We have to, I hope you remember the repeat, increment the value of I until we find the element greater than the pivot element, and decrement the value of j until we find the element lesser than the pivot element. I hope you remember that. Same concept we are going to use here. So while L is less than H, while A of L is less than or equal to pivot. If A of L is less than or equal to pivot, then increment the value of L. Okay, increment the value of L. Up to what value? Up until L is less than H. Until L is less than H, we have to continue this. So increment the value of L, L plus plus. Okay, until we find the element which is greater than the pivot element, we have to increment the value of L. So condition is A of L is less than or equal to pivot means increment the value of L. Okay, A of L is less than or equal to pivot, increment the value of L. And another condition is L, L must be less than H. You should not go beyond the another half. Okay, that's why it is L must be less than H. That is, it is giving you the boundary. Second condition is giving you the boundary not to exceed the positions. Okay, then second condition is while A of H is greater than pivot. If it is greater than pivot, then decrement the value of H. If it is lesser than pivot, then stop it. Okay, so first condition, A of L less than or equal to pivot, it will stop when you find the element greater than pivot element. Okay, and A of H greater than pivot, this H minus minus, it will stop when we find the element lesser than the pivot element. Okay, if L is less than H, so if L is less than H, then we have to swap A of L and A of H. Okay, temp is equal to A of L, A of L is equal to A of H, A of H is equal to temp. You know this code. It is used for swapping two numbers using temporary variable. Okay, if it crosses, after crossing, what we need to do here, we have to swap pivot element with the jth element. Okay, so A of low is equal to A of H, A of H is equal to pivot. Okay, so jth element means jth element will be pointed by H, right? Jth element will be pointed by H. So first element, that is pivot element, and the element in the position A of H must be swapped. Okay, so A of flow is equal to A of H is equal to pivot. Then J is equal to H. So J is a global variable which holds the position of the pivot element. J is equal to H. Okay, this is about partition function. Then this is the main method. Main method function, it's one and the same. Again, main method, public. I told you it is public because Java virtual machine has to call this. From outside the class, we have to call a function, means it must be public method. Okay, so it's a public method. Then static, because before creating the object of the class, we have to call this method. That's why it is static. Void, because it will not return anything. Main is the name of the function, or main is the name of the method. Then string args, string, it's a class name. Args, it's an array which holds the command line arguments. Okay, so within this, we are going to call the quicksort method. So int I comma n, random t is equal to new random. Random, it's a class name, built-in class name. You can notice that all the built-in class name begins with the capital letter. Okay, random t. We are creating an object t. You can create any object. Okay, you can give any name. Here I have given it as t. Okay, random t is equal to new random. So new random, it will allocate the memory for the object t. Then system.out.println, enter the size of the array. N is equal to s dot next int. So this next int, it will read the input from the input stream. Whatever you enter from the keyboard, that will be stored in input stream, that will be read by the scanner. Okay, yes, it's an object of type scanner. Okay, object of class scanner. It will read the input from the keyboard. That is, it will read the input from input stream. Whatever you enter using keyboard, that will be stored in input stream. From the input stream, this object, scanner object, will read the input. Okay, that input will be usually of type string. So we have to convert it. So s dot next means it will read the string as it is. But we want integer here, so convert it next int. Okay, s dot next int, and that will be stored in n, that is the size of the array. Then system.out.println, the array elements are, so we are going to generate the random numbers using random number generator here. For I is equal to 0 to n, a of I is equal to t dot next int of 10,000. I told you about this in the last class also. That is, this is the seed we are passing for the random number generator. It will create the numbers within 10,000. It will not create the number 10,000 also. Okay, within 10,000, whatever the numbers it can generate, it will generate. That is 0 to 9999. Okay, these are the numbers it will generate. Okay, so a of I is equal to t dot next int of 10,000. Then system dot out dot print a of I plus slash t. Plus operator, it's a append operator, I told you. So these two will be combined and it will be displayed. A of I, it's a number generated which is stored in A of I, that will be displayed with the tab space. Okay, then after displaying system.out.println, println will include a new line at the end of the statement. Okay, so system.out.print, it will not include a new line. System.out.println, it will include a new line. Okay, that is the difference between system.out.print and system.out.println. Okay, then long start time is equal to system.current time in millis. I told you this current time millis, it's a function, built-in function which is there in the system class. It will read the current system time. Okay, it will read the current system time. So note down the start time. Note down the start time. Then call quicksort 0, n minus 1. 0 is the initial value, that is first position, element of the first position. And then n minus 1, it's the position of the last element. position of the first element and for position of the last element, we are passing pick sort of 0, 0 comma n minus 1. Then note down the end time also. Again, note down the time. So long end time is equal to system dot current time millis. So it will read the current system time. Okay. Then system dot out dot println, check whether the elements are in sorted order or not. For checking that, we have to display it, right? Then for I is equal to 0 to n, system dot out dot print a of I with the tab space. So it will display all the elements with the tab space. Include a new line at the end. Then system dot out dot println, it took, you can notice here, it took plus, that is it took, it is within the double quotes. If you want to display any message, then you can give it within the double quotes. Then if you want to append any value, that can be given without any double quote. Okay, so append it plus end time minus start time. So we have to get the end time minus start time to get the actual time taken by the algorithm to execute. So end time minus start time plus millisecond. So this is the end of main and this is the end of the class. So I hope you understood the concept of quicksort program. So now I'll show you how you can execute it. So I have already stored this in tutorialspoint.com login. Okay, it's already present in this. Here we have 4 tabs, that is execute, share, source file, and stdin. Stdin is standard input. I told you here it is not a console input because we are executing the programs online. Okay, it is not a console input. So we have to provide the input within the space they have given. So this is the space they have provided for giving the standard input. So stdin. So I have given 5 here. Okay, I have given 5. This is the source file. When you click on execute button, it will be executed. So here 5 numbers got generated, that is 9092, then 6180, 7548, 1363 and 4375. Check whether it is getting sorted or not. So 1363, 4375, 6180, 7548 and 9092. So it is sorted. It took 0 milliseconds. So you can notice that within the fraction of second, these small input values will get executed, right? So we have to check with the large number of values. Okay, we have to check with the large number of values and we have to plot a graph also. Okay, we have to plot a graph also for this. Okay, anyhow, online we cannot execute with the large number of values. You can check up to 6,000. Okay, you can check that. So I'll give 6,000 and execute. Okay, so when you come to the lab, we'll execute these 2 programs. Remaining programs you can execute, but these 2 programs, that is merge sort and quicksort, for that we have to give large input and we have to note down the time. Okay, so for that it requires space. Online they cannot provide such a large space. Okay, I hope you're getting. So when you come to the lab, we can execute these 2 again. For now, you can just execute online and you can check how it works. Okay, so I have given 6,000. So you can notice here it is taking time. See, it is giving errors, that is object to object, so it cannot execute such a large number. So I'll give 5,000. Let's see, because for merge sort for 5,000 it executed in the last class. See, for 5,000 it is executing. So they have given a limited space. If we give more than that, it is not possible to execute. Anyhow, for now, you can execute and check, that is how it works. Okay, you can execute and check how it works. So you can notice here 5,000 values got generated here, right? And last number you can notice it is 9999. That is the seed we have given, right? 10,000. Within 10,000 values, it has to generate, not more than that, right? So here, okay, I'll show you if I remove that seed, what happens. Okay, if I remove that seed, I'll show you what happens. So I'll not give any seed for this. Okay. I'll just remove the seed. I'll just call t dot next int. I'll reduce the size of the array. Okay, I'll give execute. Okay, you can notice here. So random number is generating large numbers here. You can notice. It is generating large numbers. So I have given 50, right? I'll just give 5. Okay, I'll execute again. So you can notice here, if we don't give the seed, it is difficult to read the numbers only, right? That's why I had given the seed. Okay. So here, if I give 100, okay, if I give 100, it will generate the numbers within 100 values. Okay, you can notice here, it is within 100. Okay, within 100. So if I give 200 values here, you can notice maximum number that get generated is 99. Okay, you can notice here the last number, that is, it is 99. This is the maximum number that gets generated. Okay, I hope you understood the concept. While generating the number, okay, I want to tell you how it works actually. Okay, that is, if consider if it generates the number 3456. Okay, it generates the number 3456. Since I have given the seed as 100, it will divide it with 100. Okay, it will divide it with 100. And when we divide it with 100, we'll get 345. Okay, when we divide it with 100, so here we will be left with, wait, okay, when we divide it with 100, that is 3456, that is the number got generated. When we divide it with 100, we'll be left with the remainder 6, right? We'll be left with the remainder 6. So that will be assigned to the array A of I. Okay, so when it generates, so you can notice that when we have not given any seed, it has generated so you can notice. So when we have not given any seed, it has generated very large numbers, right? So when we give the seed, it will divide the number from the seed, and whatever the remainder is there, whatever the remainder we get, that will be assigned to the array A of I. Okay, I hope you understood. If you have any doubts, you can ask me.